Okay, let's go to the next page. Same thing in this case, we're going to remove something. Again, a series of bricks. In this case, it says motion is about restricting based on race, age, genetic information. Somebody wants to remove genetic information. It's the same thing. We're looking at a series of bricks. Okay, here we go. I can't remember your name, Karen? I want to call you Carol, I'm sorry. Will you be the chair? Fellow with the R. What's your name? Joseph? Okay, you be A. So you're making the motion. Okay, and sir, will you be B? You are amending the motion. Yes, sir. We're on page 10. Okay, 10. All we're doing is we're going to look at Joseph's motion, and then what is your name, please? Armando. That's what you told me that before. I'm glad you didn't change it. Armando is going to amend it. So Karen, here we go. Recognize somebody. Yes, yes. Yes, sir. Any motion? Too late. You already hurt my feelings. Okay. Okay. We have a second. Second. Okay. Go ahead, Carol. Karen. Is moved and seconded? Okay. So now, Armando, what did he let you give? He didn't give you much to work with, but let's see, what can you do?
Madam Chair, I move to amend the motion by striking to move the adjourn.
No, you cannot replace with something else.
Okay.
You can only remove one of those words.
Okay.
Can only remove.
I move to extend.
No, because all you can do is take his words and remove one word. That is amending. What you're trying to do is come up with another motion. This other motion says, I want to extend time. We can't. We have a motion to adjourn. Can you add something? Yeah. But see, that's adding something to it. See, he didn't give us much to strike. Wait, what would you say? But see, now you're adding something. Notice the difference. We've got to remove something. What would you say? And so then what's left? If we leave that motion without the word adjournment, it doesn't make sense. Can you repeat your motion without the word adjournment? Repeat it. Go ahead, Joseph. Is that what he said earlier? No. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead. He said right now. Very good. Okay, so he said, see, that makes sense. Notice the difference. You were all trying to add something. You're amending, but it's not the right form. We did that one earlier. We're trying to remove something. Okay, so let's skip the rest of it. Let's use the same individuals. This time, let's go to the next page, because I want to make sure you see all three pages. Page 11 is the one you always think of when you hear of amend. In this case, you're going to look at a sentence, find one word or phrase, you're going to dump it, and insert a new one. That's what you always think of. That's what you wanted to do with amounts back here. Okay, so we're back to you, Joseph. Make a motion, get recognized by Karen, and Armando, you're still on, okay? Second. Okay. Very good. Armando.
Madam Chair, I move to amend the motion by striking the motion to...
No, just tell us strike what part. You're fine. What part do you want to strike? What? What do you want to remove from his statement, from Joseph's statement? You want to remove the verb also? We're not going to have anything left. No, just the part you want to strike. Remember, these are bricks. Only the brick you need. Take it out. 30,000. And insert what in its place? 15,000. Okay. Thank you. Karen, your chair. Exactly. Okay, let's stop there. Okay. I just wanted you to see how it is very difficult to be the chair. So when you have someone who's being the chair, don't, get off their back. Give them a chance. If not, if not, just tell them, let me try it, and then you'll be embarrassed. No, you saw it right now. It was very simple. I gave you a chance to do whatever you wanted, and it was not easy. So you do need to be considerate. Any comments on that, please? Yes. Let's go to page 12. On page 12, I needed to insert this as something new because people don't get the difference between postpone and lay. Postpone and lay. Or as you call it, to table. And there is no such motion as to table. The motion is to lay on the table, not to table. And anyway, the way most people use, I'm going to call it what you call it, the way they use table is to kill something. And they'll say, oh, we don't want to deal with it, let's table it. No, that's only done in the movies. It's not done in real life. In Robert's rules, it doesn't happen. That's not the way, it's not right. So when you want to kill something, you just vote it down. You can't just lay it. You can't kill it like that. The other thing is, you cannot postpone it by saying, oh, we'll just lay it on the table, we'll get back to it tomorrow. That's not tabling. That's postponing. See the difference? If you want to kill it, vote it down. If you want to postpone it, use the motion to postpone. Now let's look at what table is. To lay on the table means, and you can see the paragraph, I'm looking at the bottom part. I'm starting at the bottom part. During the handling of a motion, there is an unexpected need to temporarily interrupt business. Temporarily interrupt business for something urgent. And you have to do it immediately. Look at the example I have under the drill. This happened to me with one of my other colleges. At Sac City College, we were in the middle of a very important meeting, and we were all, everyone had something to say, and suddenly a police officer walks in the back of the room. You know how they carry all the hardware. Well, this guy I was surprised his pants stayed up. I mean, he had so much on him. And he just stood there and stared at the chair. And the chair didn't react. I was very concerned. I mean, a police officer doesn't come into a classroom fully dressed like that unless there's something serious. That was a good example for her to say, if there's no objection, we're going to lay this motion on the table to find out what the officer needs. That would have been right, because it clearly was urgent. I mean, he doesn't come in just to listen to us screw around. I mean, he doesn't do that. And it was going to be temporary, because whatever he told us, we're going to get right back to what we were doing. And she didn't. She ignored him. She just kept going, and I would hit her in the elbow. Respond to the cop. There's a policeman in the office, in the room. Look at the officer. And she just looked at me and continue. This is a chair. So it turns out he had asked her permission to speak, but she had never told me. So I was very concerned, and she was perfect with it. But that was a good situation. Right now, if the same thing happens, let's say the president of the college walks in. Well, the president of the college is not going to walk in just to take roll. It's got to be something important. So we stop what we're doing. We say, if there's no objection, we're going to lay the motion on the table to find out what the gentleman needs. That's the table. It doesn't mean to kill. Look at number 2 in that same section down there. If we have somebody waiting, we have a guest speaker, and the guest speaker can't stay the whole hour for our meeting. How long does your meeting last? Because I noticed that in your minutes, you didn't list when you adjourned. Let me say that again. You didn't list the time when you adjourned, and you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to say when you adjourn. Tell me again how long you last? No. Somebody that is serious. Tell me how long. Really? Really? You need to go back to that section on debate protocol. Because I saw your agenda. It wasn't that much. Exactly. But that page that I saw on your minute, on the agenda and minutes, that didn't take that much. It shouldn't. You either hate it or you love it. Let's move on. So that page on the debate protocol, please go back. Thank you for being brave enough to tell me that. I really thought you were kidding. Sir? Yes. Anybody can say, well, the chair would say, if there is no objection, we're going to lay it on the table. The chair would say that. But anybody can say, I move to lay the motion on the table. Go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is you can set a time. So like, say they start at 2, they go to 4, whatever, 4:30. They can say the meeting's going to be from 2 to 3:30 is the agenda or no?
Good point. Let me say it. He says, who determines when the meeting begins and starts? Depends on how you posted it. If you are the chair and you know you only have a 1 hour tolerance from your members to sit there for 1 hour, it should say in the posting from 2 to 3. It should say from 2 to 3. and you adjourn at 3. Sir?
Oh, instead of, so this would be the proper way to
Yes.
stop the meeting, like, because we have this thing where we go, stop the rules of the day or something like that.
Oh, that's, well, I'll get to that. Suspend the rules of the, yeah, I got another one for that. Okay, so I want to get to that one. I won't forget. But your agenda, which doesn't say it now, should say when you start and when you end, and the minutes should say when you adjourn, and you don't, and you should, you must. Yes? Okay, yes, you can. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right. You can always limit public comment because keep in mind you have an obligation to handle business on the agenda. You have an obligation to listen to them, but they cannot hijack your meeting, preventing you from doing business. So you have to tell them, we have this amount of time and we're going to listen. And as soon as someone speaks and the next one starts to repeat themselves, repeat what the other person said, you can remind them, please, we only have 15 minutes. Do you have anything else we haven't heard? And go to the next one. Does anybody have anything we haven't heard? The public. And do it like that. Because you're giving them a chance to speak. You're not shutting up anybody. You're letting them speak. But you've got to do your business, please.
And you cannot let public forum do announcements during that public.
The only people who can make announcements during public forum is the public. Only the public. Only the public. Say someone comes up and says they're having a blood drive, and they want to make sure you all know about it. They're part of the public. It's a blood drive here on campus. Sure. Lobby day, club day. Somebody can make that announcement. ICC should be a member of the public. They should send someone to make some announcements like that. It's perfectly all right. So let's go to, you had a speaker, and you know very well your meeting is going to go from 1 to 3, and it's getting too long, and you want to get to the speaker. Someone can say, I move to lay this motion on the table so we can listen to our speaker. Notice you can always qualify lay on the table with purpose. You can never qualify it with number of minutes. You cannot say, I move to lay this motion on the table for 10 minutes. That's postponed. But you can't say, I move to lay this motion on the table to listen to this person or to take care of this other business. Any comments on that, please? Okay, let me go back up to postpone now that we got that one out of the way. Lay on the table doesn't go away. Whatever you have is still pending. You're in the middle of a meeting and you lay something on the table, you're still continuing with something, and it's still hanging there waiting for you. It's hanging there. It's going to come right back because someone is going to move to take it from the table. Postpone is not like that. Postpone, you're saying, we're going to move it from this part of the agenda and we're going to put it on this other part of the agenda, even if it means at the next meeting. But you're putting it on the agenda. You're moving it from one place of the agenda to another. Table doesn't. It's sitting there like a ghost, waiting until you get out of the way and let it come right back into your body. But and that's the way you should think of it, because it's there. Please. Lay it on the table. It's no lay down, please. Get your head out of the gutter. Okay, please go on. Yeah. Good point. See, you guys keep asking these great questions that I don't care to go back to what I brought. I wanted to talk about what you brought. Lay on the table has a life expectancy of 2 meetings. If you lay it on the table this meeting and don't get to it, next week we have another meeting, you have the entire meeting to bring it back up. If you're in that portion of that meeting, the second meeting, if you don't bring it up, it's dead. It doesn't survive. That's all it goes. Good point. Most people don't even know to ask about that. Good point. So I forgot now what I was telling you. Oh yes, postpone. Yes, please, sir. And your questions are good. They're better than my material. I hope you don't mind that I am making notes on what you're asking.
So in our bylaws, it says that any such court as the Senate is inferior, so if they veto something, can that veto be overridden by the court?
If you have an inferior court, by definition, no, okay, they're inferior. Okay, you're the superior court, they're inferior. Nothing they can do can conflict with what you do, because they're inferior. It's like having the the Senate and its subcommittee. The subcommittee can never overrule. Subcommittee must follow instruction. Subcommittee must obey the higher body, always. So they should know their instructions. Of course, they can come back and try to promote their idea and get you to change your mind. That's fine, but they cannot overrule you. Okay. Going back to postpone. Okay. So in postpone, you realize that we don't have enough time, or we don't have the right people, or we don't have the resources. Let's just leave it for another time. So let's say we're in the middle of a motion, and everyone is hungry, and they just want to go have pizza, have lunch, and so you want to interrupt for pizza, and so you say, I move to postpone this until after lunch. That's postponing. You just move it to another part of the agenda. Or you could say, I move to postpone it until 2 o'clock, and this is already 9 in the morning. Postpone it to 2 o'clock. Perfectly all right. Or postpone it to the next meeting. Those are the 3 ways you can postpone. Okay? So let's try something. Let me ask the fellow who's in the middle of swallowing water, so I can interrupt him. I need for you to make a motion, and then the lady in the, yes, looking, yes, please. What is your name? Megan? Megan, okay. And what is your name? Alex, okay. Alex, you're going to make a motion, and I'm going to pretend I'm the chair, and then I need for you to move to postpone it to one of these 3 time elements. Remember, there was 3 different times. Pick one. Then I'm going to ask on somebody else, and the last one is going to have trouble because they're not going to remember which one. So, Alex, hit it. Let's get a motion from you, sir. No, I move. Motion is not a verb. Motion is a noun. Okay, I move to increase tutoring by 20 hours a week. Okay, so we're in the middle of discussing this, and Megan, you want to postpone it to sometime. So make a motion to postpone and tell me to when. The motion, okay. To 5 p.m. Fine. Okay, if that's true, let's see. I haven't talked to you. You postpone it to a different time element other than what she said. There's 3 time elements right there. I move to postpone to the next meeting. You got the hard one. Which is the one that's left? One was to a particular time. The other one was to the next meeting. There's one left. It's right there on the... Where? That's right, another part of the agenda. Do you see that? How there's 1, 2, and 3? Yeah, on page 12. You're just going to move Alex's motion. His motion was to award 50 cents to who? Something. $20. Oh, $20. Oh, yeah. Okay, so now you postpone it, not to a particular hour, not to the next meeting. There's one other option. Okay, somebody tell me. Okay, no, let me get to this. I need an answer on the third one, please. Point one?
Postpone
Till after the treasurer's report. Okay. So it's some event in the calendar, in the agenda. Very good. But go ahead with your comment. Okay, the question is, what if I object? Remember what happens when someone objects. We go through the 6 mandatory steps in Robert's Rules of Order, which are the ones listed on page 5. If you object at any time, what you're saying is, don't do the EC if there is no objection. Your objection is saying, don't do this for EC 1, take all 6 steps. Because you just want to waste time and you want to show off that you know more than the chair does, and you're going to force her to make a mistake, and that's what you're doing. Otherwise, you voted. Yes, please. Really, they have that much? Yeah. So we shouldn't be voting. But that takes too long. Just a second. This is very important. There's got to be a good reason to do that. And if someone says, if there's no objection, unless you really hate it and you're willing to kill somebody for it, let it go. You're going to get to it. Don't force the 6 steps. It's just wasting time. If there's no objection, If it's robbing you of an opportunity to present your motion, then object, but otherwise, there's really no reason. Just let it go. If you start getting a lot of that, then people are just being, there's a word for it, and it just escaped me, there's dilatory. Robert calls it dilatory, in which case you can say, I'm going to ignore your statement, it is dilatory, and move on. If they're just asking you to do that for no reason, challenge them. If they don't have a good reason, it's dilatory, we're moving on. Yes, please, sir. I'll be right back with you. You go ahead, sir. Yes. Okay. If that happens to be a problem with your group, it's that they all want to rearrange things. You need to have a discussion and say, is there a good reason why this can't be here? And if somebody doesn't come up with a good reason, leave it. Okay, next one. You take it by item, groupings. There is no reason why you should rearrange it. Tell me, why would you need to rearrange something? Go ahead, sir. Tell me, please. Who determines that reason? Well, that's just it. The question is, who determines? If the chair rules it as dilatory, the chair can ignore that person. That's why, let's say you want to move it, and I say it's dilatory. You say, point of order. That's my motion. I will not be here. I need to be here. Now you got a good reason. But you can't just do it out of whim because you want them in alphabetical order, and she wants them in reverse alphabetical order. So you can't do that. And the chair has a right and the obligation not to waste time by asking you, why do you want to make that motion? Why is it important? And the person has to give one breath to give an answer. If they do, fine. If they don't, well, I think it's dilatory. We're moving on. But you should not allow people to waste time. Doing business is extremely important. You are the only ones accountable for this. You're responsible. You've got to take it very seriously and be very progressive about it. Were you going to say something? I ignored you a minute ago. I'm sorry. You're going to ignore me now. See, I see. Oh, God. Yes, sir. Can they appeal? Yes. Any time a chair makes a ruling, you can appeal it. And a ruling means I declare that to be dilatory. I declare that it's a majority, not 2/3. I declare that it will only do this. Of course, if the chair says, I declare today is Tuesday, and it's Wednesday. Now, that's not a ruling. That's stupidity, but that's not a ruling. And you can't do anything about that. You can ignore it. But if it's a ruling based on parliamentary procedure, you can appeal it. But again, we're wasting time. The point is, what's the point of wasting time? It's got to be a good reason. You've got a lot of business to take care of. Your meetings are going on for 3 hours. Your objective to be to make them in an hour. And you can. The debate protocol helps. The proper way to amend helps. Controlling what people do unnecessarily helps. But the chair is going to need your cooperation. Do not think the chair is going to have to do it against all of you. All of you have to get behind that chair and make sure that nobody else is clowning around with your time. You got exams coming up. You can't be wasting time with them. Okay, any comments on propose and lay? Let me go to the next one. Refer. Refer motion. Earlier I said you have no right to complain. You should be amending, you should be postponing, maybe even laying on the table if something is important. Or the other one is refer it. Refer a motion requires additional body parts. You can't just say, I move to refer it to a committee. It doesn't say which committee. It doesn't say who's going to chair it, how many people are going to be in it, and who these people are going to be in it. And you don't tell it when to report. As you look at page 13, look at the two boxes. Page 13, there are two boxes. The box on the left is for information you need if you're going to send a motion to a standing committee. Okay, let's go back. Let me go back. Can you tell me the difference between a standing committee and a special committee? Good, good. And what about standing committee? Exactly. Standing committee is there year-round. It is written into your bylaws. It's there year-round. That's why it's called standing. Special committee, you just happen to have created for something you want done out of the ordinary, and as soon as that task is completed, the committee disbands. That's the end of it. Thank you. So, if you have a standing committee, you already have someone assigned as the chair. You already know who's populating it. You know how many people are in it. That's why when you look at page 13, box on the left, there are only a few things you need to say. You need to say what instructions for them to do, what are they supposed to do, when are they supposed to report, and which of the committees you're going to send it to. That's all you have to say. So if there's a motion going on and you're debating and you know we're not ready to decide, someone can move. I move. We refer this motion to the finance and what was the other word that goes with it? Budget and Finance Committee. And we already know who chairs that, so you don't have to say who chairs it. You know who's in it, you don't have to say. And you know how many people are in it, you don't have to say it. Standing committee is very straightforward. But now let's say that we have a motion, and it's related to some party we're going to have. We don't have a committee for parties. I know you don't. Don't lie to me. I read your bylaws. You don't have committees for parties. So you have to create one for a party. So now you have to give it 5 parts. First of all, you have to say who is going to chair it. Then you're going to say how many people are in it. Then you have to say the names of the people. Then you have to say what task you're giving them. And finally, when to report. And that's the box on the right-hand side. The box on the right-hand side of page 13 has all those 5 parts. Okay, you ready? Here comes the drill. Here comes the drill. So in this drill, I'm going to ask someone to make a motion. The next person will move to commit it and give me one of the 5 body parts. Then I'll point somebody else. You give me one of the missing body parts. The next person give me another. Because when you're doing this, one person doesn't have to give all that information. It can take 3, 4 people to come up with all that information. But if you're smart enough and you want to make sure you populate the committee with your buddies, you write it up so that it includes only your buddies, so that you know it's going to come back the way you want it. So we have one person who's going to be making the motion. Someone else is going to move to refer to a committee and give me one body part. The next person I point to gives me a second, a third, fourth, and fifth, okay? Very well. The fellow on Facebook right over here. He raised his hand. He raised his hand. Look at that. He raised his hand. Look at that. Sorry. You're chewing. Okay, I'll come back to you. Okay. Mr. Justice, give me a motion, please. Yeah, we're going to have an ad hoc committee, yes. Yeah, you're going to give me a motion. Somebody else will move it, will refer it. Just any motion. No, you give me the motion. Somebody else is going to commit it to the motion, to the committee. Somebody else is going to refer it to the committee. So we start with your motion. That's right. All you're going to do is give me the motion itself. Just the motion. Ignore the fact that it's going to be referred. Okay. Can we? Okay. Just give me a motion. Luis? 500 what?
5 Lamborghinis.
Oh, 5 Lamborghinis. Any color particular? So your motion is to buy 5 Lamborghinis. I can't even pronounce it even less afford it. Okay, 5 VWs. Okay, so he has 5. Now, would you please move to refer to a committee and give me one of the 5 body parts? Remember what I mean by 5 body parts on the box? Yes? And give me one of those 5 things in there. That's good. Notice what he's done. He's only given me one thing, which is all I asked. But he moved to refer to a committee and for them to report at a certain time. That took care of one of the 5 parts. Now, give me another part that's missing. See, the motion cannot come to a vote until we get all 5 parts. So we got to wait. Go ahead, give me another one. No, you can go ahead and say, okay, you're fine. I just don't want it to sound like it's a different motion. So when he said, and report back in a month, you can say, and that, and Jessica be the chair. We've got 2 parts. There are 5. 3 are left. Mem, say, and that, and you give me another one. 6 members. We're going to have to come up with 6 names. Can we settle with 3? With 3, okay. So look what we've had. He had a motion to buy those cars. He said when to report. He said who the chair should be. She said how many members. We got 2 parts that are missing. Can I have another one, please? N? No, I'm looking at the box. Yes? But no, you're right. You're giving instructions. Give me the instructions again and determine what? Okay, now I heard you. Okay. So we had the motion to buy cars, motion to report, motion for the chair, motion on number of members, motion on what to work on, and? That's right. Now he mentioned the individuals. That is the motion to refer. It has 5 parts. You can't just move to send to a committee and leave it because it doesn't go anywhere. There's nobody there to receive it, no one to work on it, and no one to report it. It's murder by committee. So it doesn't work like that. Any comments on that one? Yes, please, sir.
What if Sally didn't want to?
That's fine. She can just decline, and we're stuck with one vacancy. And we have to work on that one until we get all of them. Please go ahead.
Could it have been referred to appropriations and then just name one of the 3?
Okay, appropriations is a standing committee.
Yes.
Okay, what does standing committee require? How many parts?
3.
Okay, and they are what?
Instructions on facts, data when to report back, and which.
Exactly. So you've already told me appropriations, which is which committee. So now we can't continue until we get the 2 missing parts.
So then I have to say, and that they report.
Exactly. And then the other one?
Report back in 2 weeks.
Exactly. When to do it and when to report. Yes, sir, please. You did what? I'm sorry?
Creating an ad hoc committee as you're referring to motion.
Notice what he just said. When you have a standing committee, it's already there. You don't create it. When you have an ad hoc, it's not there. You have to create it from scratch. That's why it needs all 5 parts. And your answer is yes. You were saying, ma'am? Uh-huh. Okay, but let me go back to what you said. Don't forget what you're saying, okay? She said they wanted to send it to an ad hoc or special committee, and you were saying let's go to a standing committee. Here's a decision. We have to make a decision about who does it belong to. If a committee already exists to take care of that subject matter, you cannot create a special committee because the standing committee already has that power. So you can't create something for finance and say, oh, we're going to send it to a special committee on fees. No, you can't. You have the budget and finance committee to take care of that. So you can only go to standing committee. You were going to add.
If they refer to an ad hoc committee already created, would it be considered a standing committee?
Okay, good point. What if the standing committee is already created? No, the only reason a standing committee is a standing committee is if it's written in the bylaws. That makes it year-round committee. Otherwise, you can send something to a special committee and then send them more work, and then send them more work. But that's a special committee, and it doesn't change to a standing. Any comments on that? What I'm trying to get at is there are certain motions that are extremely valuable to you. And I promise you, if you use them correctly, you will save a lot of time in your meetings. You will be very, very productive. You get a lot more accomplished. You'll be surprised how powerful you are. But they are the amending motion, but you got to do it right. Remember the bricks. It's the postpone because you need time to work on them, and the refer. Those are 3 very powerful ones. You should be able to work with them very easily at any time. You should not be having any doubts. I mean, if people are going on and on and on about it, discussing something, chances are you need to postpone it, or you need to refer it, or you need to amend it because debating is not going to make it shine any prettier. It's still going to stink. So if it's debating isn't going very far, the chair should say, the next time somebody wants to argue or complain, ask them, do you have a motion? We heard enough from you. How about you? We heard enough from you, but do you have a motion? Keep going until you get a motion. Please, sir, were you going to add? Oh. No? Okay. I'm going to go very quickly over point of order. We won't go through the script. You can read it, please, so that you can see what it means. But I want to make sure that we understand this process. Point of order and appeal. Page 14. If we have a discussion or somehow we get to the chair and the chair makes a ruling, and the ruling being, I forgot what we had earlier. Oh, dilatory. That's a good example. Dilatory. The chair says that's dilatory. That's definitely a ruling. It's a parliamentary opinion. Ruling is a parliamentary opinion. not an opinion on facts. So the chair makes a ruling that somebody doesn't like. That's step number one. Step number two, someone says, point of order. It might be easier for me to do it on the board, because I want to make sure that you see this. So the first thing is, number one is we have a ruling. Number two, somebody calls point of order. Number three, the chair does the following. What does the chair do? It recognizes the person that said point of order, and what does the chair say? Sorry? Please state your point. In other words, you're trying to find out what is it that you're asking, and the chair then responds, your point is well taken, or your point is, whoops, not well taken. So the chair figures that out. Number four, because the chair has made now a second ruling, here's one, here's another one, and the chair moves on, what's the next thing that happens? Appeal, that's right. Someone has to say, I appeal from the decision of the chair. And now, what happens after that? What? Yes, debate, but who speaks first? No. The chair, exactly. The chair speaks first, and now everybody else speaks once. Exactly. And then the chair speaks another time, and then finally we take a vote. These are the steps for appeal. And it usually comes, almost invariably, from point of order, and whatever the point of order is. So we get the chair to give us a ruling, and then as soon as the ruling happens, we hit her with a point of order. You interrupt. As soon as that happens, chair, everything freezes. Chair asks, what is your point? And the chair listens. Then the chair declares, your point is well taken, your point is not well taken. And if somebody wants to, then anybody, not just the person who called point of order, calls appeal. Interrupt. You do need a second for appeal. You do not need a second for point of order. You need a second for appeal. Then the chair says, the point of order has been appealed, the decision of the chair has been appealed, and this is my reason for the ruling. Anybody else want to speak? Yes, you, yes, you, yes, you, yes, you. Anybody else? No. I go again a second time. Chair speaks a second time, and then we take the vote. Does anybody remember how the vote is taken? What is the wording? It's awkward, but what is the wording? No, it's going to be majority. It's going to be majority. But the point is, how does the chair state when the chair is going to ask for the vote? No, there's no objection. This is on the script, and what it says is, all those in favor of sustaining the chair say aye. All those opposed say no. It takes a majority, but a majority of the noes to overrule the chair. Otherwise, that's why it's a popularity vote, because nobody cares who's right or who's wrong. It's just who's got the votes. Any comments on this? Yes, please, sir. Is that majority vote or majority vote? The only time, and I don't think, I looked through all the rules that you have, I don't think you ever say majority of the members or 2/3 of the members. I don't remember seeing that anywhere. Say again? A veto? But doesn't that say votes? Yes, you're right. The veto is described differently. So you'll have to see it. If after the word majority you see the word vote, it only means those who voted. If after the word majority or 2/3 it says members, then it means every warm body on the bylaws. And it's rarely the second. Yes, sir, please. But the word vote is right after the word majority, isn't it? Immediately. Look for the word vote and tell me what's next to it to the right. Oh, now, okay, now that one does say members. And that refers to what? What is that referring to? Hello? The rule relates to what? No, I mean, to the appeal? Oh, for the veto, there. Okay, that's what it refers to. To the veto. Okay, now, let me back up. In your veto, it does say members. In your veto. Nowhere else. You're special. You're special. You have very unique things. If that's what matches your needs, perfect. But generally, it's not that extreme. Okay. Yes, anybody else? Any comments? Okay. Let's go over, reconsider the vote very quickly. Page 17, please. All the others are drills. I need for you to look at them slowly on your own time. But page 17, reconsider the vote. Number one, we have a vote. And we take any vote, whether it's an amendment or a main motion. Second thing that happens is we declare the winner. So we announce who won. You know, what I'm telling you is that this is done. We go to another motion. This is motion number one. Here's motion number two. In the middle of motion number two, regardless of what we're doing, somebody decides, I want to change my vote. Notice it's after the announcement was made. After. We're in the middle of some other motion, and someone moves to reconsider. It's always reconsider the vote, not the motion. It's reconsider the vote, and it says on what? However, because we're in the middle of this motion, we cannot do this. This is page 17. We cannot take care of it because we're in the middle of another motion. This guy is trying to reconsider this vote. So what happens is the chair has to tell the secretary to make a note of it. Because we can't do it now, but we will later. However, this motion does require a second here at this point. Okay. So this is when the motion is moved. This is going to become important. Moved. So the chair tells the secretary, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, make a note. There was a motion to, it was moved and seconded to reconsider the vote on, and you say which previous motion. Now the next part is, we're done with motion number two. And when we have an empty space, no motion is on the floor, the chair or anybody else can say, I call the motion to reconsider the vote. So you notice what it's doing. Here we moved it. Here we're calling it. Moving can be done anytime, even in the middle of another motion, which is always illegal, except for this. But call can only happen when there is an empty space. There's no motion present. So we had the motion before, we got done with it. It was done. We voted, we're happy with it. Halfway through another motion, somebody decides, I want to change my mind. I would like to reconsider the vote. That person gets a second. Chair tells the secretary, make a note of it. We finish with this motion that we're working on. We have no motion on the floor. Someone, anyone can say, I call the motion to reconsider the vote. Now, when this happens, we have to take several votes. Vote number one is, shall we reconsider it or not? If the answer is yes, then the motion is on the floor. Motion is live. And as a result, we're going to vote on it a second time. So let me go to that. Yes, please, sir. Let me get to it. I was just going to get on the details. But you're right. I'm just getting the skeleton. Thank you. That's definitely very clear. But first, I want to make sure that you see this part. A vote is taken and it's announced, we're done with it. That's the end of it. We feel happy, we're going away, you even go home. The people that remain wait for you to leave. And then halfway through another motion, someone says, they get recognized instead of debating, said recognized, and they say, I move to reconsider the vote. I move to reconsider the vote, and they get a second. No vote is taken. It's just a request. We cannot interrupt the motion we're in, so the chair tells the secretary, make a note of it in case somebody else calls for it later, because we'll know when they call for it, we have already moved and seconded. That's what we're doing. Okay, so then after that, when we get some time, there's no other motion going on, someone says, I call the motion to reconsider the vote. We don't need a second. It was already moved and seconded. So now it's called. When it's called, now we take a vote. Shall we reconsider it or not? That's the first question. Shall we reconsider? So we debate that, we vote on that. If the vote is yes, let's reconsider it, fine. We start with the motion all over again. Refresh completely. Anything that you want to do, you can bring up, you can refer it, you can amend it, you can postpone it, anything you want to. One point that he mentioned right here when it says, I move to reconsider the vote, you have to admit that you voted on the prevailing side. So let's go back to Karen. You know how she is, okay? So, so let's say that everyone on this side voted against the motion. They voted no. Everybody else voted yes. So the motion was adopted. Who is on the prevailing side? This group. That means Karen cannot make a motion to reconsider because she didn't vote on the prevailing side. In other words, she was on the not winning side. So when she sees something coming up, what Karen needs to do is, if she sees that all of you folks voted for it, she needs to say, I vote for it too. Knowing full well it's defeated, I'll just move to reconsider it. Right? But she can't move to reconsider it unless she votes on you, people that are wrong, you're crazy people. Because she knows she's right. She's saintly. You all know that. So we have all of you voting on the prevailing side. You are the only ones that have a right to reconsider. We can't have those people that are whining and crying because they lost. They cannot move to reconsider. Only you that won. But she can tell, this is losing. So she says, make sure when the vote is taken, I move I'm voting for it. Makes a point of it. Makes herself obnoxious. And everyone can tell, we know what she's doing. She's going to reconsider because we know she doesn't like that idea. So they vote negative. She's not voting negative. The motion is defeated. The motion is adopted. Later on, she waits, and hits you with it. I move to reconsider because I voted on the prevailing side, and you cannot stop her, unless she doesn't get a second. But she's already moved and seconded. The chair turns to the secretary and says, make a note of that. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, now let's say, for example, you have 30 members of the Senate and 12 decide to leave, right? And then you're like at the point of not meeting quorum.
But do we have a quorum or not? The point is not valid.
One person, you're barely making it.
So you have a quorum. Great, we have a quorum. Go ahead.
But if you're just barely making it, and then that person hears the reconsider and then requests from the chair, I'd like first point of privilege to leave or something.
No, you don't ask permission to leave. You just get up and disappear. You don't ask permission. You just disappear.
So then that person just gets up and goes?
Yeah, exactly. Notice what he's saying. What happens is, and this has happened. This has happened, and it's turned very, very nasty. We're going to take a vote, and it's close to no quorum. And the only way that the people who have lost all their buddies that can prevent it is they get up and leave. And they do. They get up and leave. And suddenly you realize, I can't keep them here. You're all volunteers. Nobody can keep you in a meeting. You're a volunteer. So the chair looks around and says, we don't have a quorum. Or if not, someone who's part of that pact waits for them to leave and says, point of order, I challenge the presence of a quorum. Now the chair, oh God. So the chair has to take roll or somehow figure out who's here. And as soon as they figure out we don't have a quorum, that's it. We cannot take a vote. The absence of a quorum only means you cannot take a vote. It doesn't mean you cannot listen to reports. It doesn't mean you cannot listen to a program or to a speaker. You can do anything that was on the agenda. Anything you posted, you can do anything as long as it doesn't require a vote, but you must keep minutes. You must keep minutes even if you don't have a quorum. And you were saying? No, because there's nobody there to suspend. They're gone. There's nothing you can do. If you didn't get to an item on the agenda, it'll come back on the agenda next week. There's nothing you can do. If they leave, you lose a quorum. The congressmen have a way of calling time out, going out and dragging those people in here and holding them onto the seat so they count. They've done that. So you have this. The prevailing vote is extremely critical in this respect. And so you would get to ask, somebody called it, now we have to decide. With a quorum, shall we or shall we not reconsider the vote? You say yes or no. If you say yes, we will consider it, fine, we start all over. If you say no, it dies. That's the end of it. We're not going to reconsider it. Whatever we decided back here is permanent. That's it. Any comments on this? You don't care. Okay. I do ask you to please look over my handout on the Brown Act. Look at those items. If you have any doubt, if it relates to anything you have seen, please Google it. Go government code, put in the number, read it, print it out, bring it to your meeting, show it to the public, and make sure you go along with that. Any questions on the Brown Act? Yes, please, sir. Okay, you mentioned several things. First of all, you said someone is accused of not complying with the educational code. There's only one person in this room that's going to be able to tell us whether that's true or not. And you have to go to Amber. Find out. Show me where it says what. You can't rely on yourself because she's your resource. If something goes wrong, she's going to be held accountable to you because of educational code. You better go to her to protect her and for her to protect you. So you got to go to her, let her show you whether you're right or wrong. Once you have that information, you can use that information then, according to the bylaws, to judge or whatever it's called, when you bring them in front of the court. But don't do it without checking on the resource. That's why you have her. You're lucky in having a dedicated advisor. Some colleges don't. They take turns. Whoever's doing nothing that week gets to sit in on a meeting. You have a dedicated one, so be sure to take advantage of it correctly. Please, sir. He has an appeal. The person who was removed without due process has a way of appealing because you didn't use the correct wording or whatever. Or if not, Eddie then goes to her and says, they did this, they want to do this, show me what my rights are. She'll find out what the code is. She'll find out who to talk to. She's the only one on campus that's going to know, where am I going to get this information? And it's not going to be a parliamentarian because this is going to be way above a parliamentarian. This is a state law. And probably the administration are the ones that have those documents. They'll share them with her, she'll share them with you, and that's going to have to be it. Sir?
When and how can they pick a member from the Senate or a member from the public?
How can you remove someone? Your bylaws, as complex as they are, mention, and you want to say anything else, mention how to remove someone in about 8 different places. That should all be together, either all together under officers, or all together, everything about officers, or senators, or judges. You've got to rewrite that, and then you'll realize you've got a lot of empty spaces where some information is missing. So I couldn't tell you because I had trouble keeping up with it. This idea of having random items is not helpful. It gets very confusing. Yes, please.
In your experience with universities and colleges,
Yes.
which of these organizations has the best constitution?
Okay, the question was, colleges, universities, which has the best constitution of those documents? Let me answer the question a little different. Community college students are the only ones that have a passion for what they're doing. When people get to be a junior or senior in a university, they start focusing on their next job. So they start forgetting the social issues. To them, they're not as prominent in their daily life as it is in community colleges. I have not been to a community college where that is not true. I've been to several universities, and I always am disappointed to find that they take it too casually. So a better answer to what you're saying is not what's the best document, but rather who's got the most dedication to get a document to work, and it's definitely community colleges. So what you're doing is formidable and admirable. So please don't back away.
So not Sacramento City College?
Oh, you're making the specific ones. No. Well, it's a pity. I work with Sacramento City, and theirs is not the best one. I've been working with them. We're still improving. I work with American River College, and I work with San Jose College. Those are the ones that are nearest my house. I work with, on Wednesday I've got one, on Tuesday I've got another, and on Thursday I've got the other. Today I was lucky, so I managed to come to Cerritos, but no, they all have something unique that needs to be improved. They all have something that everyone can learn from. But no, I was comparing universities and community colleges.
No, and back to the same conversation. You're finding ours a little bit.
The writing, just the writing.
So the writing. So which writing?
Oh, I see. So you want to compare them? Yeah.
Organization do you think we should look
I see.
at
I see. That's a.
iron hours a revision?
Uh-huh. Yes, please go ahead. Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Good, good. That's right. The actual content has to match you. The format, the skeleton. I like Sacramento City because they have good categories. I can find anything just by looking at the categories. They even have an index, which is also very good. So, yeah, thank you very much. Just very quickly, I only have a couple more minutes, but I do need to mention about suspend the rules. You often hear this. You can only suspend certain types of rules, and it's very straightforward. You cannot suspend anything above your bylaws. From bylaws up, you cannot suspend it. You cannot suspend bylaws, you cannot suspend constitution, you cannot suspend local rules, you cannot suspend state, you cannot suspend federal. You can suspend what's below it to a certain point. You can suspend anything in Robert. Anything in Robert can be suspended with a 2/3 vote. 2/3 vote. If you had standing rules, it would take a majority vote to suspend. But again, you got to find out what that rule is. If you look at page 19, I had a drill at the bottom to show you different exercises that we could run through to find out what it relates to. I have asked you to read those pages on Brown Act. Let me skip all the way to the very last page, 24. This is a summary of Robert's Rules of Order. Unfortunately, it's dull, and you would never tolerate it, but this is Robert's Rules of Order. You look at this. Some motions on the left-hand side, it's page 24. Motions on the left-hand side have a number. The higher the number, the higher the rank, and it can bump motions below it. For instance, look at motion number 3, amend. If you're in the process of amending, somebody can commit, that's a number 4, it'll bump it. Somebody can postpone, that's a number 5. Somebody can adjourn, that's a number 12. See, so the higher the number, the more power to amend, to bump. Look at the next column, capital I. If that motion has an I, you can interrupt someone. Look at the next one, capital S. If that motion has an S, it needs a second. Look at the next one, capital D. If it has a capital D, you can debate it. If not, you cannot. Capital A, you can amend it. And then the vote, which is either majority or 2/3, or the chapter makes a ruling, or the chair makes a ruling. But what I wanted you to think of is, there is no reason for your meetings to go on for more than 90 minutes. If it's going on longer than that, chances are there's something in one of my pages that you should be able to use to cut back and focus on getting things done, not on taking time to listen to people whine. If you're taking more than 2 minutes to adopt your minutes, you're doing it wrong. If you're taking longer than 2 minutes to adopt your minutes, you're doing it wrong. The minutes are probably wrong. Everything you do is because you're doing it for the students, so you're accountable. Do the right thing, it'll be gratifying for you. You will learn a great deal, I assure you. You will constantly be using parliamentary procedure when you leave college because you will not be able to avoid it. You will join organizations. Organizations will clump you into them, and you get stuck, and your interests are going to be protected by you. Your ideas have got to be promoted. But if you don't know parliamentary procedure, I can assure you, others will trample you. So you need to take this seriously, because it's like learning a new language. You use it, you grow. You don't, somebody else robs you. If there are no comments, I thank you so much for being here.